Okay, hi. My name is Tyler, and I'm one of the co-founders of Plastic Trophy. And together with my partner, we created a Showtimes app called Wigglehop. That's this little Admit One guy right here. Wigglehop is a movie Showtimes finder. And as a new user, you can see here that you need to declare your location right away. So you can type in landmarks and city names and zips and things like that, but we're going to go ahead and hit that little guy right there to auto-locate. And here's a list of movie theaters near me. Now they're listed in order of how close they are to where I happen to be. You can see here, got a little clock that we designed in there just for this app. It's available on all the screens. So time was a big consideration for us. It's trickier than you might think to manage time between time zones and time estimations and things like that I'll show you here in a second. So looking at this list here, a lot of these theaters I never go to. They're just not close enough for me. But these 4 theaters here, the Nick, the Del Mar, the 9, as I like to call it, and the Riverfront, those are all the theaters that I normally go to. Now, I can hit any one of these maps. If I hit this map here, you can see that the 9 is coded purple there. I'm going to close out of that. If I hit the Del Mar here, now the Del Mar is coded purple. One of the neat things about this is, as you can see, that only the 4 theaters that I've turned on are shown on this map, right? So if I wanted to do something like grouping, like there's theaters in Santa Cruz, and then maybe I was thinking, I don't know, maybe tomorrow night might see a movie, but I wasn't sure for some strange reason whether it was going to be, you know, around home or over the hill, maybe in Los Gatos. So I can turn on the Los Gatos Theater, and now you can see that the map will show me a clustering of these theaters. So this is a pretty extreme example, but let me try and show one that's maybe a little more relevant. How about Scotts Valley? I'll hit that Scotts Valley one. I'll shrink this down a little bit. Now you can see a relationship between these movie theaters. And while this example might not be the best when you're traveling, things like that, and you're kind of exploring where the theaters actually might be on a map, this is actually a pretty cool feature. We can go ahead and hit this here, and it'll drop us onto the map. I can hit directions here, and it just switches us over to, I guess it's still loading, switches us over to the Maps app. Let me go back to Wigglehop here. Let me close out of that. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. So now that I've turned on all of my favorite movie theaters, I can hit this to scoot over, or I can hit movies here to scoot over. But what everybody does is they just swipe, right? That's the fast, easy way. Now, since I've turned on my local theaters, I'm probably not going to mess with those theaters very much. Maybe just a few times a year. I don't really travel all that much. So what I'm getting at is, now, because it's late at night on Thursday here, there aren't a whole lot of movies that are playing that I can actually make it to. Regardless, these are the remaining movies that are playing tonight, Thursday night, from just the theaters I've turned on. So just to give you a better idea, let me switch over to Friday. And now you can see there are quite a few more movies because I can make any of these Showtimes. That's one of the neat features about Wigglehop, is that we only ever show you the information that you can act on, and in an order that is logical and useful and timely. All right, so let's open up a few of these movies that we might be interested in here. Rogue Nation. Oh, Rogue Nation, is that what it's called? I guess so. Dark Places here. We're in the process of shutting Wigglehop down, so I'm actually creating this video to kind of document some of the neat little features of the app before it goes away entirely. So here you can see there's a no poster graphic, which is pretty cool, and the synopsis is missing. These synopses we actually create ourselves in-house. So as we go, further back in time here, by the way, all of these movies are ordered by release date. So the further down in the list, the older the movies are. All right. Jurassic World is fairly old. Now you can see in some of these posters, like this one here, see that little wiggle? It doesn't have this little icon right here, the little play button. I hit that, and there's a little movie trailer playing. And really fast, really easy to kind of figure out what you might want to see. These little synopses, I'm calling them synopses, but they're really not synopses. They're really teasers. Our goal in creating them was to actually tease people into playing the trailers. We figured that the trailer is probably the thing that's going to sell somebody on going to see the movie, and not, a long text description of the movie. So we wanted to keep this application and the experience of using it really fast, really light, really easy. So all of these little teasers are 140 characters long. We tweet them and put them up on Facebook, and they're really fun to read. They're really fun to create. We actually don't pull these movie posters from our data feed. Cinema Source is our data feed. Their posters tend to be low quality, not high enough quality for our standards anyway. So we actually go out and find the highest quality posters we can find on the internet, bring them in, and process them ourselves, and put them into the app. So the trailers are also something that we actually code ourselves. We encode them, re-encode them, and we do all of that to ensure that the experience is as high quality as possible. So getting back to the app here, I've kind of opened up a few movies that you can see are sort of thematic, right? They're kind of boyish movies. Maybe I'm thinking about going to the movies with a nephew, or a couple of guys, and these are the leading candidates, but I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm not putting that pressure on myself to figure it all out just yet. I'm going to handle this socially. So now that I've picked the movies that I might be interested in, that are playing at just the theaters that I'm interested in going and seeing them at, I have this Showtimes list, and it's no surprise that it's ordered in earliest showtimes to latest showtimes. But what I'm going to do is actually turn off the morning hours and the late night hours, because I never really go see movies during that time. Now the list is much more manageable. So I'm going to pick a time window here. I'm going to pick the 7 o'clock time window, the ever popular 7 o'clock after dinner but before it gets too late time. And I'm going to swipe over, and now here I've got a movie plan. And these posters here, again, you can see this one doesn't have a trailer encoded for it. So it just gives you the little wiggle there. But these two do. There's a little Ant-Man trailer action going on there. So anyone that you send this list to, this movie invitation, is going to be able to play these trailers just that easy. So pulling this back into center here. One of the neat things about this here, you can see that this time is just the clock time here. But that's because I'm trying to plan a movie for tomorrow, right? Here I can share this via text, right? And you can see that it has a showtime for each one of the movie candidates on the invitation. But what happens if I turn on, say, the 5 o'clock window as well, right? That's a lot of movies in this invitation. Now I go to text message it, and you can see that our pre-populated message is quite different. It no longer references the times, it just references the movies. There are a lot of very subtle, meaningful decisions that we made about handling time. Let me kind of go back here to movies here and select, go back to Thursday, all right? And, oh, I need to turn on night here. All right, so there's 3 showtimes that I can actually make tonight with those 3 movies playing at my theaters. So now I move over here, and now look at these showtimes, right? They're counting countdowns, 16 minutes to go, 9 minutes to go. We had to set a lot of different thresholds for how to best communicate time in this instance. Actually, in this particular instance, it's pretty easy, right? If it's within, say, under 1 hour, it's pretty relatable for someone to say, oh, it starts in 57 minutes, right? But it might be more valuable to say something like, it starts in about an hour, which I think is what we actually did in the software here. If it was under 45 minutes or so, then we went to a minute-by-minute countdown. But anything above that, it would say something like in an hour and a half. And anything over that, it would just give you the clock time, right? So basically, that is the whole app. I'm sure there are a bunch of really cool little features that I've missed here. This here is our social sharing screen here. If you we're trying to incentivize people by turning into a little game here. So you can write a review on the App Store. Here you can see our app rating is quite high. It's 4.5 stars over the lifetime of the product. You can see some fun little marketing pieces that I art directed and put together, trying to message how the app works, because it does work quite differently than other movie time apps and other apps in general, really. Let me go back to Wigglehop here. So then you take credit and you can see the little star animation going on here. So the idea is you collect all the stars there. It's not much of a game, I guess, but we really wanted to do something that was thematic with going to the movies. And clearly this looks like a movie credit sequence, and of course stars for movie reviews and things like that. So let me go ahead and shake this to reset the app, and I'm going to show you just how fast it is to really use this in a real situation here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my main theaters, keeping in mind that even that I don't normally have to do. I'm going to set it for Friday. So I already saw Mission Impossible. Let's see, Shaun and the Sheep sounds interesting. Maybe Southpaw. Is there anything else? I think I've seen pretty much everything else. Maybe the Fantastic Four. Synopsis is missing. I'm going to just go ahead and stick with these 2. Here's my time window here. Let's go ahead and pick these two, and here's my movie plan. I'm going to go ahead and email it. And I could hit send there if I wanted to. So, you know, even with all of my talking, you know, that was still, what, under a minute? It's very easy, very predictable experience. So let me go ahead and close out the app now. Say, you know, half hour has gone by. I open up the app. It opens right to the movies page. All of my movies are still selected, right? I swipe over to here. Everything is still there. So say as a couple days have gone by, see it opens up to my movies app again, and say I already saw Shaun the Sheep. See, that's what I ended up seeing. So I can just close that out. Swipe over. There's a couple of Showtimes. And that's Wigglehop. They're trying to think if there were any other fun things to talk about with it. There are just so many, you know, small decisions we had to make to really bring it to life. I don't know if you can really hear the sound effects on this or not, but my partner Galen really got very serious about creating just the right sound effects for it, and I think he used a ballpoint pen, I believe, to create the clicking sound, and sound engineered it and got it into the app so that it really sounds great. Yeah, so that's Wigglehop, and it's been a really wonderful experience putting it together and sharing it with customers, and really enjoyed using it myself. It's kind of sad to see it close its doors, so to speak, but it was time. So thanks for watching this with me, and hope you enjoyed it.